While Amal Clooney was making headlines for her poisonous behavior, rumors of their divorce began to circulate among fans, the media, and even their closest friends. Regarding the breakup, Grace has mostly maintained a respectful silence. Rumors about George and Amal's divorce have been circulating for months, but they became more apparent when George was seen looking visibly upset in public. George, who once seemed untouchable and immune to life setbacks, is now grappling with a deep personal crisis, according to sources close to him. According to these sources, George is far from the smiling man we once saw standing by his wife's side. Even his closest friends were taken aback by the tears he cried in the past several weeks. While Amal persisted in her relentless pursuit of global human rights causes and high-profile legal matters, George reportedly struggled with a sense of isolation in his relationship, even though he was surrounded by the world's George, who had become increasingly involved in charitable and family-oriented pursuits, struggled to strike a balance between his private life and his public duties, and their once strong bond began to fray as their separate responsibilities began to draw them apart. Amal's demanding career made it increasingly difficult for the couple to spend quality time together, and that strain began to take its toll as George's friends would later reveal the actor poured his heart into their marriage. But as his emotional needs began to change, it became clear that their paths were diverging. The couple, who had once been inseparable, found themselves at odds over seemingly small things that snowballed into bigger issues. At one point, George admitted that the emotional disconnect was growing so significant that it felt like they were living parallel lives under the same roof. While George struggled with these changes in private, he continued to publicly support Amal's endeavors. It wasn't until their final separation that the public caught a glimpse of the pain George had been enduring. His vulnerability and raw emotion were never fully on display until Amal, known for her diplomatic approach, made the difficult decision to move on from their relationship after the divorce. After spending so many years single, George Clooney seems practically transformed into a shadow of his former self, according to his closest friends. Clooney relied on close friends like Brad Pitt and Matt Damon for support during these difficult times, but it wasn't until George began talking about his emotions publicly that people began to realize the depth of his heartbreak. George had built his life around his family with them, so being alone was incredibly difficult for him. All sources say that George found solace in his work, but even his successful career couldn't fill the void that had opened up in his heart. The actor, who had always been seen as confident and self-assured, admitted to struggling with feelings of inadequacy and guilt after the split.